where it all started.
Manchester forever. By 1800 there were 42 mills in Manchester, eclipsing any other region in any other country. The city would adopt the motto, Consilio e Labore, by wisdom and effort.
So you might be asking what was all that about? Well, that was the Three Rivers Gin experience, and it basically went, that was the introduction to it. It basically went over the sort of history of gin to date, I guess. May sound a little bit boring, but it really wasn't. And also, most of the points were punctuated by a drink. I'll show you.
A somewhat darker period, and specifically 1618 when a massive war breaks out across Europe, known as the 30 Years' War. So what he did is he took some small but decisive steps to make homegrown spirits economically viable. 3 litres per head per year. Just gin. And they're drinking it as a replacement for water.
The next part of the tour was the still, which was obviously augmented by even more gin, some neat gin, which is really, really delicious actually. You wouldn't expect it. The actual still is this huge like copper and steel like sculptural object. It's so amazing, so beautiful. It's really worth just going just to see that. Yeah, have a look.
We were started off by one of my good mates and our master distiller, Dave Rigby. Dave started his career down the road at Salford Uni as a lecturer, lectured in film, so as you can imagine, a bit of a transition from doing that to being a master distiller. That all started off with Dave getting disillusioned with the good old British education system. So Dave wanted to make something that was authentic, which of course required a still, a distillery. So that was the starting point.
At this point we got a history lesson specific to Three Rivers Gin, which is really interesting. I'll cut to that in a second, but we also learned about the ingredients, which was crucial because the next step, well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Primarily, gin has to work with tonic as a G&T. 90% of gin is drank in that particular way, so it has to work that way, no brainer. Second, it has to work in what's seen as probably the most iconic gin cocktail, the gin martini. And third, it needs to be something that's versatile, that you can throw at a good cocktail bartender and they can do what they want to do with it. So they were the three main things that he wanted to do. Now, one thing he wanted to do as a bit of a bonus, Dave loves rums and whiskies, so he wanted to make something that you could drink neat, something that was super smooth. And he'd asked the question to a lot of people, well, why does nobody drink gin neat? And the answer was usually, well, why would they? So Dave, I think the word Dave uses is belligerent, but he basically went, well, I don't care, I want to make a gin that you can drink neat on its own if you want to, and that was the idea. So the primary ingredient in there, of course, is always juniper. That is always your majority botanical. After that though, you have things like coriander seed. Coriander seed gives you that drying effect on the palate that you would associate with a London dry gin, so it's really important. Third and fourth, you have two roots, and these are known as Angelica root and Orris root, and these are fixatives. They essentially keep all the other flavours locked into the gin and stop them dissipating over time. So we're actually the first gin in the world to use oats as a botanical, and Dave came to oats by originally thinking, well, I want a botanical that in some way links to Manchester. Sadly, cotton and coal don't go well in gin, so he did a little bit of thinking, and he thought, well, whereabouts are we? What's been going on around this area? And of course, the answer is Angel Meadow. And during the Industrial Revolution, when there was all the mills, the workers, what they were eating was food that was cheap and food that would give you lots of energy. So it was things like gruel and porridge, which of course are both derived from oats. So we thought, well, let's give it a go. And what the oats do is twofold. They give really lovely sweetness, but they also release so much oil that they make the gin a little bit more viscous, they give it more texture, and it gives it that nice mouthfeel that Dave was looking for when you're drinking neat. When we come to do a run or a batch of gin, if you will, this is where we start. This is pot shape plate at the bottom of it. So the vapour will hit this bottom one, and slowly but surely it will rise through each one of those chambers until it hits the middle section there, and that's called a reflux condenser. A portion of the vapour that hits that will be condensed back. So what we do is we let you guys be the judge. I'm going to give you a taster of the gin.
Don't mind if I do. This is just water, really. The last part, the best part, the part that you're really gonna go there for is making your own gin. You come away with a bottle of it. Hang on. You come away with a bottle of gin that you have crafted yourself. So you get to choose the ingredients. You basically get like this iPad that's there, and you just choose your ingredients. You note down the quantities of each one. You then choose the quantities so they're like on the shelves, and you just like measure them out, weigh them out. Then you've got this little sort of tiny 1 litre still in front of you, which you put the alcohol in, put the botanicals in, then you sort of turn it all on and it sort of spits out this gin through this process that you learn about. And it's really, really interesting crafting the flavours, because what I did was I put in oats because I really like the idea of drinking it neat. I used to be a huge whiskey fan, and I really like those like PT smoky whiskies like Lafroig, stuff from Islay, and so I put in some Lapsang Souchong, which is smoky tea, which tastes really, really nice in this, makes it nice and smoky. Wanted some floral, so I went with rose hip and wormwood. Wormwood's the thing that's in absinthe, so that's quite cool. And horseradish didn't seem to do much. I put hops in because I love hops, you know, I love hoppy beer, things like that, and yeah, that was everything that I put in it. And what they do then, which is also really cool, is they save that on their system, and if you want to like ring them up later, you can just get them to re-brew some of those, whatever the term is, make some of those, and you can just order yourself another bottle if you've made one that you like. So I don't want you to think that I'm being paid by them or sponsored by them. I did go on that experience for free, but that was through a group that I'm part of. I have already recommended this experience to people in real life, so I'm not bullshitting you. It's just a really good thing to do if you're in Manchester. You need an idea for a night out, maybe like a birthday that's like 4 of you going, something like that. It's really great because each one of you comes away with a bottle of gin that they've made themselves, and you know, you have all these drinks along the way. It's yeah, I'd say it's well worth it. It's about 100 quid, which seems like a lot, but then, you know, what doesn't cost like 100 quid these days? I don't really know what I mean by that, but you get what I'm saying. I'm gonna end it now. I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe, I'm not gonna ask you to like. What I am gonna ask you to do is leave a comment, tell me what you think about this video, tell me what you think about my other videos, let me know what I'm doing right or wrong, and you know, join in, have a bit of a conversation, and let's, you know, let's build this thing. Kind of want to start like a hashtag, and I had this one floating about and I use it sometimes, and it's learn to hustle. So like, when will I learn? And you know, learn to hustle. I'm all about working really hard. I don't know, I feel like it's going to be one of those like stop trying to make it happen type of things. But yeah, now I'm just rambling. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.